another big edition of the MCDFNL Senior Footy Show. Thanks to our great mates over at Bendigo Bank. Make sure you check them out. They do a great job by us. My name is Yeendy. I'm joined by Mitch. Some big games coming up in round 10. We've passed the halfway mark and we've got the bye that's not too far away, but no doubt teams will be out there this weekend looking to try and secure that valuable win.
Absolutely, it's a very close competition at the moment, so every win counts. We've got a couple of close games coming up this week for sure.
We certainly do, and unfortunately one game that we don't expect to be close on the scoreboard, we've got Campbell's Creek and Carisbrook. The Redbacks are really flexing their muscles, they're really getting the job done, and they are the heaviest scoring team in the competition by the length of the Flemington Straight. They are looking magnificent at this stage of the season. Campbell's Creek come in with a little bit of form on the back of their best quarter for the year.
Yeah, look, Campbell's Creek might have some confidence, I guess, after scoring 8 goals last week, which is a pretty good effort by their standards, and the aim this week will be to try and back it up against a very strong Carisbrook outfit, which is a different story altogether to last week. But look, I just hope it's a competitive game, and I'm sure Campbell's Creek will keep fighting it out.
Yeah, exactly, and if Campbell's Creek don't have the best performance this week, every team, pretty much every team bar one has suffered a massive loss at the hands of the Redbacks this year. They do have the best percentage in the competition, more than twice that of those who are sitting on top of the ladder, and that's they've been the Swans. They've got a percentage of over 540 odd, so they have just been in invincible form. And if Campbell's Creek get 4 scoring shots on the board, I think they'll be happy with that, because Carisbrook have just been averaging probably over 40 scoring shots most games, so they're looking pretty dangerous at the moment.
They are, and they're going to be a very dangerous outfit come around finals.
Definitely right there, mate. A game that is really going to it's going to have reached great heights. We've got Harcourt and Avoca. With Avoca in some great form, as you highlighted earlier in the week, they've got a bit of a winning streak going. The Lions, they're roaring along nicely, looking to cement that spot in the top 4. This is going to be well worth watching. Yeah,
look, Avoca, yeah, exactly. Full of confidence at the moment. They've jumped into 7th spot. They'll just want to hold on to that spot now. They had Coghlan back in the reserves on the weekend, but I believe he might be still hurt, so he might not be back in the seniors just yet, which is disappointing for them. But Harcourt may be a little bit shaky after last week against Malden. They weren't at their absolute best, I wouldn't have thought, but they are still got the job done. But look, maybe Avoca could steal this one if they're in great form.
Yeah, I think so. Their form in recent weeks has been very impressive, and I'd like to think they're a big chance here. I'm actually tipping them to get the job done, because they're playing with that great confidence that hasn't been seen around the club for recent years, and if they continue to play the way they have, they're just, as you mentioned, they've got Coghlan in there, whether he plays or not, they're still got carrying that injury. But I think what they've shown is they've brought a few big guns to the club. They don't have to rely on them so much. But then you look at Harcourt, they've brought Gillingham to the club this year. He's been in exceptional form. He's been that gun forward that fans love going to watch. He could be a big difference maker.
Yeah, it's hard to go past Harcourt. I think they just they have had a very strong year so far, and I think they'll just get the job done in a close one.
Yeah, should be a cracker. Lexington and Malden, the Bombers, had a really good effort last week against the Lions, but Lexington, on the other hand, they'll be looking to bounce back after a disappointing loss to the Grasshoppers.
Yeah, Malden took it right up to Harcourt last week. Lexington, yeah, losing by 10 points, so that was a pretty close one for them. Lexington will really want to bounce back. I think the stakes are too high now, given how close it is, and Lexington are just 1 win out of the 8, so if they want to get into that 8, they're going to have to win this week.
I think Lexington are a top 8 side, the way they've been performing in recent times, and they complement their A-grade netball side really well, because the two had sort of rocky starts to the year, but then after I think wins against Royal Park, the other Tigers outfit, both teams have really started to excel and started to show exactly what they're all about. So Lexington will be the winners there. Maryborough Rovers and Navarre, this is, so when you talk about a lot on the line, this is the game.
Yeah, this one could be very interesting, I think. Rovers coming off a competitive loss to Natty, Navarre coming off a close Lexington win, as we touched on. It's 5th v 6th, so both hoping to stay in the 8 or even push for top 4. Wouldn't surprise me if either of these sides go in the top 4 come the end of the year, but yeah, they're going to have to keep winning if they want to stay there.
I think if this game for Maryborough Rovers, it's a make or break for them, because they need to take down a big scalp like Navarre, and if they're going to be a contender, they have to win games like this. They've done well against the sides below them, but they have to really start to put the foot down against these sides that are going to be challenging. And we know Navarre, they've just had that hard fighting spirit over the last sort of 5, 6, 7 years. So they haven't had the best side on the paddock. It's been like that the premiership years over the journey, but this year they've still had enough talent on the park where you can never write them out in any game.
Yeah, that's right. Navarre's got a lot of experience in that side, but I've picked the Rovers here in a close one. I think they might even challenge for top 4 coming into the year.
I think Navarre will just go through very, very nicely. Native Yalva and Denali, yeah, it will be a tough day at the office for the Hawks.
Yeah, look, Natty were challenged last week by the Rovers, but they're a top side and undefeated after 9 games for a reason, so I think they'll knock over Geelong with ease.
I think that's the beauty about the Swans, that they have been challenged by quite a few sides this year, and hats off to them. When the pressure's been on, they've been able to hold firm and win those games.
Yeah, they've had a number of close games and they just keep getting the job done, so it shows a lot about the character of the group.
Talking about more big games, Trentham and Talbot. The Saints, they're almost playing for their season this weekend. I just feel if they can push the Hawks, they'll be a big chance to play finals.
Yeah, look, Trentham, they finally got the win they needed after losing 3 in a row. They're sitting back in 8th again, so they're back in that 8. They've got Lexington and Royal Park on their tail, so they'll need to close out the season strongly if they want to stay in that top 8. On Talbot, they're sitting nicely in 3rd. Obviously, they have a great season so far, but they have a very challenging 3 weeks ahead. They've got Trentham this week, and they've got Harcourt and Carisbrook, so they've got a very tough run.
Yeah, for them it's really important they get a big win here, because they've had a couple of weeks where they haven't been too bad, but they have had a loss and a strong win out of Campbell's Creek. But yeah, this would be a big chance for them. I think Talbot will be too strong. And I do apologise, I did say Denali were the Hawks. They are the Eagles. They are flying high. The final game, we've got Newstead and Royal Park. Can the Kangaroos get the job done?
Yeah, so 10th versus 11th. Both of these sides would think they can still challenge for the 8th, especially Royal Park, I think. But look, if either of them want to get in, they're going to have to win. So whoever wins here, I'd still back them in to get in the 8th. But I think Royal Park will get the job done.
I think Newstead, they've just this time of year they seem to get up and about, and they'll just be attached too strong at home, and in a close one of probably around sort of 4 goals in a very close game. But we've got the bye that's not too far away, but we've got a big game of big round of football. Round 10. This is probably one of the big rounds of the season, with so much riding on virtually every game. Mitch, thanks so much for joining us this week, and thanks to our friends at Bendigo Bank for their all ongoing support, and we'll catch you next time.
Thanks for having me.